Hi, I'm Judy. Welcome to Go with Yin Yoga. Today I have a practice to get into your Vijnanamaya Kosha, your wisdom body. And I'm going to invite you to come down onto your stomach if that's comfortable for you. You can also be laying on your back to begin with. I'm going to suggest padding your mat with a blanket and maybe having a couple of blocks nearby. And I'm using a bolster, but you can also have a folded up blanket back there to go under your ankles because that can feel very nice. And either come down to your back or come all the way down. I'm going to be propped a little bit as we just get into this, but I invite you to come all the way down here. You can have your hands one on top of the other and your forehead on top of your hands. You can also take a block, bring it here, and bring your forehead onto it. We're trying to get into our wisdom body, and our wisdom body is often thought of as being between our eyebrows, our third eye, our sixth chakra, Ajna chakra. And the intentions I'm offering for you today are in your subtle body to decrease worry and to increase decisiveness. And on a physical level, you will be strengthening your hamstrings and your low back. And if you'd like to come up with an intention of your own right now, I invite you to do that. And just begin to connect with your breath as you're laying in whatever position you're laying in. Begin to breathe in and out through your nose. Letting your breath just naturally slow down. This might be the first time all day, or if it's in the morning, whenever it might be, maybe the first time you've taken a really nice deep breath. Today's practice will be getting into our kidney and bladder meridians, as well as our liver and gall bladder meridians. And the gall bladder meridian in particular is about making good decisions. So I'd like to read you, as you continue to breathe, this quote from a book called The Energy Body. The theoretical knowing of it, wisdom, will lead someone to assume they can fix or be fixed, while the wisdom of it will allow you to step away from fixing and just create space in which healing occurs. And as we go through our practice today, I'd like you to think about that, to think about creating space in your body. Think right now about creating space in your upper back, letting those lungs expand, breathing into the front of your heart and the back of your heart and out to both sides, taking up more space. A couple more breaths here. Anything is possible. And whichever position you're in, begin to walk your hands back. If you're using a blanket, if you're using something behind your ankles, go ahead and set that off to the side. If you're using a blanket, go ahead and fold it down smaller. You may definitely want this, in fact, in our very next pose, to pad your knees. And I'm going to suggest a couple of blocks as well, but you can do this without blocks altogether. And go ahead and step forward with your right leg. And bring your hands to the inside of the right foot. And this is where you can either come all the way down to the floor, but this is, for most people, a little bit awkward. So you can grab those blocks and you can put them on whatever height feels right to you. Could be the highest height, could be the lowest height. And just bring your forearms to the blocks. Oops. And hopefully you're not falling off of them as I am. If you do have your forearms on your mat, you can consider taking one of your blocks and putting your forehead on it. Again, bringing your attention to your third eye, the space between your eyebrows, creating space for good decision making. And the affirmation I'm offering you in this posture, dragon, low flying dragon, is making decisions is easy and fun. And feel free, if at any time this just feels like too much, you could bring your hands to the blocks, and that will take a lot of the pressure off of that left hip flexor. And you can take a break in child pose at any time if this just feels like a little too much, because it is a pretty deep hip flexor opening. That's a mouthful, a stretch. Wherever you are, just bring that attention to the space between your eyebrows. What ideas are you making space for? And see if you can slow your breath down. Inhaling it up towards that third eye, exhaling it down towards the belly. Inhale up towards the third eye, and then exhale down to the belly. And last couple of breaths. And slowly begin to take your hands to the mat, bringing that left hip back, maybe straightening the right leg, a little stretch here. It's okay to feel sensation. In fact, Yin Yoga asks us to get comfortable with being uncomfortable in the stillness and the duration of the postures that we hold. And leave your blocks there. Take your hands to the mat, spread your fingers wide, curl your toes under, and then just lift your hips towards the sky. And depending on what time of day it is, maybe you want to pedal out your legs a little bit, bending one knee and then the other. Or maybe you want to bend both knees. Maybe you're not real open yet. Whatever works for you. Down dog. We're here for a fairly short amount of time. Last inhale. Last exhale. Gently set your knees back on the towel or your mat. And just pause for a moment. Notice if the sides of your body feel a little different. Notice if you feel any energy moving. Now go ahead and step your left foot forward and bring your hands to the inside of your left foot. And again, you can stay right up like this in dragon, taking your attention between your eyebrows, your third eye. You can come down with forearms onto the block, and you can come down with forearms onto the mat. And anytime it feels like too much, go ahead and take a short break in child's pose. Making decisions is easy and fun. Excuse me. And feel your body expanding from your toes all the way up to the crown of your head. The body is spacious. And begin to slow that breathing down. Again, inhaling up towards your third eye. Exhaling down to your belly. Inhale, third eye. Exhale, belly. Last couple of breaths here. And then slowly begin to press into the mat. Once again, taking your hips back so that your hips are over your knees, and perhaps straightening your left leg and taking any movements, any small movements that you feel you need. Making decisions is easy and fun. And slowly begin to bring that left leg back to meet the right one, coming into tabletop and just pausing. Noticing your energy. And begin to take your knees wide and your toes together. Sitting your hips back on your heels. You can always grab a blanket and put it between your thighs and your calves if this feels uncomfortable. You can grab that bolster or rolled up blanket from the beginning and place it under your ankles. We're not here very long. Attention to the third eye. And slowly begin to press into your hands and walk your hands back to your body. Maybe taking your knees back together a little bit. And just pausing really briefly, giving your ankles a nice stretch. For me, that feels good. For you, it may feel very uncomfortable. Again, you can always take a rolled up towel, put it underneath your ankles, and that will make it feel more comfortable. And go ahead and take your blocks off to one side. I'm going to grab something briefly. I need that at the end. I invite you to keep that blanket and fold it so that it's a nice little thick rectangle. And go ahead and sit on it. And face the long end of your mat. In fact, if you have more blankets, you take a couple of blankets and put them off to either side. Go ahead and stretch your right leg out towards the right corner. Bend the left knee and bring the sole of the left foot into the right thigh. And then turn to face your right leg. And begin, this is half dragonfly. Begin in a fairly upright position. Let's take a few breaths here. Let any tension that's built up in this practice go. And begin to walk your hands down your leg. Let your back round. And let your head be very heavy, pointing over your right thigh. And decide where you'd like to feel the sensation in this pose in half dragonfly. And do you want to target the area around your hamstrings more, your upper thigh? You want to target your lower back more, in which case you might want to just stretch out, not pull, but stretch towards your right foot. Really think about making that spine, bringing space between each and every vertebrae, growing tall, even as you're coming down towards your leg. And when we make that time to come into stillness as we do in Yin Yoga, that's when we can begin to move into our wisdom body. It can be hard to make decisions as we're going through our days with all the stories we're telling ourselves in our mind and all the obligations that we have to do. It's hard to get still and listen to that inner wisdom that's inside of you, that's always just waiting to be tapped. And when we get still, that's when we can the decision just comes to us. We just know the right answer. Maybe not on your first try. It may take a few practices. So this is a practice that I'm going to suggest anytime you're really struggling with a decision. And begin to press into your hands, walking your hands back towards your body. Take the soles of your feet to your mat. And you can either just lean back, you may not have a wall behind you, and take your feet wide apart and let your knees come together, as I'm doing. Or you can windshield wiper your legs by letting the knees fall to one side and then to the other, whatever feels right in your body. Go ahead and take second side. So stretch your left leg out, bend your right leg. Take the sole of your right foot to your upper left leg, and then just turn your body towards that left leg. And come into the pose softly. Give your body time to settle into this pose, half dragonfly. Eye open to messages from the universe. And begin to let your head come down towards your left thigh. And let the upper back round. You choose where you want to target your upper thigh, your low back, and make any little adjustments you need until you feel sensation in that area. And then come into stillness. So when we carve out that space during our day to come onto our yoga mat, to get still, that's when those downloads, as some people call them, may come to us. The ideas just pop into our head. So we've cleared out all that clutter, all that chatter. And remember to lengthen with your breath. And on the exhale, maybe soften down a little bit more, keeping your attention on that third eye. Slowly begin to press into your palms, bringing your torso back upright. And go ahead and, oops, sorry about that. Again, you windshield wiper your leg or let your knees fall together with your feet apart. And take a couple breaths here. I open to messages from the universe. And for our last pose before resting, go ahead and stretch both legs out. So, get that out of the way. Sitting up on that blanket, or even a block, that can make it feel much more accessible and comfortable as well. Taking time to start in an upright position. This is full dragonfly. Again, taking your attention to that third eyebrow. Maybe closing the eyes. Then beginning to let the head feel very heavy. Rounding that upper back. Bringing your attention to the third eye. I trust my inner wisdom. And you can also grab a couple blocks, make a little T, a little shelf for your forehead. That is another option. So make a little T and just rest your forehead on that. That's one option. And I will be honest, that feels really comfy for me today. But if you are a lot more flexible than me, you can really stretch forward, reaching your arms forward, maybe even getting your forehead towards the ground. I'm going to stick with the blocks. And returning to that breathing pattern of inhaling up to your third eye and exhaling down to your belly. Inhale third eye, exhale belly. Inhale, allowing space to let your intuition speak to you. Exhale, releasing any tension. Last couple of breaths. And then slowly bring your hands to the mat, walking them back towards your body. And slowly bringing your head upright. And slowly bringing your legs together. Go ahead and set your mat up the same way as you came into this practice. If you're laying on your back, you can lay on your back to take Savasana. And if you were laying on your stomach, I invite you to open up that blanket and make it as wide as the mat. And then unfold it so that lengthwise it's coming down the mat. Just giving yourself a little extra padding. And I like to just fold up the top of the mat, kind of making a little pillow for my head and my forearms. I need a little yoga Sherpa to go ahead and change all my props so they just magically appear. Okay, and I'm going to grab that bolster. I'll put that underneath my ankles and slowly come down to lay on my stomach and maybe roll this up a little bit more, place my hands on it or grab that block, place my forehead on the block or my hands and just let go. And if you're on your stomach and this feels a little uncomfortable on your low back, you can roll up a blanket and put it under your hips. That may make it feel a bit more comfortable. And you could also slowly, of course, come onto your back for Savasana and take a bolster underneath your knees, just as we normally do. When we take our hands and place our forward on our hands or on the block, anywhere we place our hands, that's where our attention goes. So in this instance, I want you to, as you have been all during the practice, bring your attention to that third eye. Just breathing slowly, deeply. Maybe bringing your attention back to the intention you set at the beginning. Or perhaps to the intention that I offered, which was to decrease your worry and increase your decisiveness. I hope through this practice that you've created a lot of space in your body, as well as in your mind, and in your wisdom body, the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And besides our own innate wisdom, which we can get in touch with when we quiet our minds, when we allow more space to come in, we also have more access to universal intelligence. You were brought to this earth for a reason. You have a purpose. And by tapping into your wisdom body, by opening yourself up to that universal intelligence, you may begin to see that you really don't need fixing. All you need to do is remember why you are here. And let your breath slow down even more. Really feel it going into your belly, bringing in calm energy. Feeling it going up towards your third eye. Creating space as it moves up your spine, through all your chakras. And then slowly keeping your eyes closed if that's comfortable. Whether you're on your belly or on your back, begin to move over onto your side, staying on your mat, cradling your head with the arm on the mat, and take a few deep breaths here. Bending the knees in towards your chest. And then slowly pushing into your hands. Slowly walking your body upright. And finally coming to an easy, comfortable position. And remembering that anything is possible. And sometimes all you need to do is get quiet, still the chatter in your mind, and let space open throughout your body and throughout your mind. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Feel free to stay in Savasana as long as you may want to. I have a few journaling prompts for you and a homework assignment. So let me read the journaling prompts, and you can write them down, or you can look in the description box below. I'll have the prompts there as well. What or who inspires me? What about that thing or that person is inspiring? Where in my life am I playing small? What is keeping me from stepping into my power? When I look back at my life, I am most proud of, fill in the blank. Do I feel connected to something larger than myself? And finally, your homework assignment for this week is to pick one question from that list, or come up with one of your own, and spend 5 minutes daily meditating on that question. And then journal on whatever comes up for you. Again, thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this practice, go ahead and click the like button. And if you want to practice with me again, go ahead and subscribe and click the bell. You can also check out our private Facebook group. The link is in the description box below. Just answer the questions and I will welcome you into it. And we have one more body, one more kosha after this one, so that will take us into April. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you tap into universal intelligence. And may you be free from suffering.